In this era of statism, the aspect of having a crisis has often been more dangerous to people who value liberty. Draconian bills that limit individuals' freedom are quickly passed because of a society that is mainly focused on the nominal threat as a result of any crisis. On the other hand, a highly consumed population by fear is most likely to voluntarily hand over their freedom due to a promise to guarantee more valid security. For instance, the fall of the Twin Towers in 2001 marked a symbolic increase in modern society's surveillance. Its repercussions presented the blow and frustration of the many liberty rights present in the United States. Furthermore, the crisis present at this particular moment has proven to be worse in damaging the freedom people experience today. Many governments across the globe have established that we have been living in turnkey tyrannies. Therefore, the socio-bureaucratic and the technical apparatus of modern society are always totalitarian ready. Hence the restrictions of incessant paternalistic propaganda, limitations on social interaction, neighbors' encouragement to snitch on each other, and massive handedness control of the business have an intrusive effect on the state of surveillance. Thus, the result is to perform a totalitarian form of action. Although desperate times usually calls for desperate measures, the totalitarian regimes often apply the aspect of desperate times to justify the massive-handed measures at hand. The fate of humanity might rest on the imposition of totalitarian rule. Still, the primary or critical issue is about when or what the degree of returning to times that might not be presumed as desperate to the prospective powers. The main phobia about the whole point is that the threat might or will subside, but the crisis potential will determine the size of the fear instilled to manipulate people. Therefore, as a society, we should be vigilant enough to tell the difference and identify whether the media will play a significant role in alerting the people about the danger involved. Joanna Burke is obvious in identifying such a history in her book, emphasizing using fear as a weapon to manipulate other people. Fear is regarded as a cultural history. In a cultural history, Joanna Burke quotes that, despite the proliferation of discourses about fear, its eradication has never been seriously countenanced. Substitution of fear-inspiring discourses, rather than obliteration, has been the goal. On the other hand, in a time of crisis of both opportunity and danger, thus the aspect of the topic of fear should be evident to those who cherish liberty. Therefore, the chance of totalitarianism should serve a purpose that acts as a wake-up call. If freedom is precious, then it is the most critical opportunity at this particular time to reaffirm the psychological freedom which is always under our control. In the context of psychological liberty, it is usually a cognitive state which indicates that any oppressor or the government can be the leading player in limiting us from taking any particular physical actions. As Epictetus quotes, "Me in chains, you may fetter my leg, but my will not even Zeus himself can overpower." However, the government and other obstacles cannot eliminate our capacity to choose or think for ourselves on what is right and wrong, or on what level we can personally act following our self-chosen beliefs and values. We should not precisely flaunt the state's unethical laws if we are asserting our psychological freedom in a politically unfree world. On the other hand, civil disobedience can be a very significant element of counterattacking tyranny. Therefore, everything ought to be done at a ripe time. In other words, the assumption of psychological freedom usually amounts to an absolute commitment, which is often used to cultivate our ethical autonomy, to better ourselves as individuals, to bring freedom in a world that is mostly regarded as unfree. Also, on tolerance, Frank Ferretti illustrates that sovereignty is often regarded as an attribute that engages with the person's world, an active consciousness in a dynamic individual. Furthermore, in the context of moral autonomy, it is usually very crucial in special conditions, in specifically critical times of rapid change and social upheaval. Suppose a crisis proves to be rather significant to restructure our society fundamentally. In that case, many individuals will have the opportunity to discover that life supporting us's main paths have become obsolete. Therefore, the notion of perish or change is a motto that this modern world should embrace, unless this is an aspect of the unwillingness of individuals to take responsibility for our prospective future. Cultivating the character traits that autonomy necessitates often brings out self-directed learning, openness to new experiences, curiosity, and willingness to take unknown risks. Therefore, it has led us to understand that the only way of our survival is most likely to be placed in another person's hands. Many citizens often turn to bureaucrats and politicians to take care of them when the state's power grows, and when governments tend to increase their paternalistic behavior. Not only is strengthening our ethical autonomy a survival tactic promoting tremendous change in the globe, but it is also a self-creation of our highest end, as many philosophers perceive it. Therefore, exercising our complete moral autonomy helps us to unfold our inner potential, thus amounting to the true notion of self-creation. In most situations, self-creation is often forced upon individuals, making the community shift its focus to a more state-controlled situation. When the opportunities of both expressing and cultivating diminish, then self-creation tends to be more challenging. In other words, in the context of totalitarianism, Alexander Solzhenitsyn refers to it as a land of smothered opportunities. On the other hand, self-creation is very hard in a situation of tremendous state control. Hence, the task size should not be the basis or an excuse for avoiding it, but rather a way of recognizing that a man grows proportionately to the greatness or the size of the task at hand. The most important mission we can commit to is self-creating in a conformist and regimented world. Hence, we have the opportunity of committing to a task that instills our life with purpose and meaning that will help us to flourish. Conclusion: the shift of the community or the society towards freedom does not require the majority to conform or recognize the value of liberty in society. Therefore, the study of chaotic systems and the spontaneous presentation teaches us that establishing a brand new order only needs a tipping point that can be easily reached by the minority agents acting in that particular perspective system. Some people believe that for human beings to flourish, then freedom should be present, while others believe that the state's power is the solution to state progress. However, we should be cautious because history has proven that freedom can be taken backwards unless we agree and focus on keeping the liberty flame burning.
If you found the video informative, then hit the like button, comment your thoughts down and share to spread the word. Also, a sub to the channel would be motivating. Just wait, we also have over 200 videos to watch, just click left or right. Keep inspiring.